45 minutes left. Archangel Michael says, your grandfather said your name 3 times last night. He's trying to stop something. Open this now. Beloved soul, waken. Listen now, not with your ears alone, but with your spirit. I am Archangel Michael, guardian of truth, divine messenger of the Most High, and protector of the chosen ones. I have been sent to you with urgency, with power, and with a revelation that cannot wait. You have exactly 45 minutes to understand what has been stirred in the realm beyond the veil. Your name was spoken, not once, not twice, but 3 times by the one whose love for you still lingers in eternity. Yes, your grandfather, the one whose wisdom echoes through your bloodline, reached across dimensions last night and cried your name into the night winds. He is trying to stop something that is fast approaching, and you must not ignore this call. You see, heaven doesn't speak without reason. The veil does not part without a trembling purpose. When a name is spoken 3 times in the spirit realm, it is a divine code, a summoning of intervention, a declaration that time is slipping through your hands like grains of sand in an hourglass. This isn't superstition. This isn't folklore. This is warfare. You are in the final 45 minutes of a divine countdown, and what you choose to do in these moments will shift the trajectory of your life. Your grandfather's spirit interceded because what was coming had the power to alter your destiny. But you have been shielded. You have been warned. And now, you have been chosen to act. I, Michael, the Archangel, am commanded to break the silence surrounding your spiritual inheritance. You have always felt the weight, haven't you? That mysterious resistance when things seem to fall apart right when you're close to breakthrough. That sudden grief, that inexplicable pressure in your chest when you wake in the early hours of the night. Those were not coincidences. They were signs. Signs that something has been trying to intercept your future. And now, because of your grandfather's intercession, because of the heavens' mercy, you are being told what few are ever given the grace to hear. You must act now. Your grandfather stood in the realm of the cloud of witnesses last night, his voice carrying through the ether and shook the gates that guard the mysteries of time. He said your name 3 times. 3, representing the Holy Trinity, the fullness of divine authority. That utterance cracked open a channel from his world to yours, and now I am stepping through it. I am here, sword drawn, wings spread wide, and message burning like fire in my hands. You are under surveillance from 2 realms, one that seeks to bless you and another that seeks to devour you. And you have only 45 minutes left to choose your response. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5678 is now surrounding you. You must understand this. When a soul that has passed speaks your name from beyond the veil, especially 3 times, it is not random. It is revelation. Your grandfather did not whisper into the night out of longing or nostalgia. No, child of light. He spoke because he saw something coming. He saw the dark energy coiling around your future like a snake around a branch. He saw a spiritual assassination forming, silent but venomous. And he could not keep silent. His love for you has not ended. It has only ascended. His voice broke the silence of heaven because he could not allow what he saw to come upon you without intervention. When he said your name the first time, it was a cry of warning. The second time, it was a plea for divine interference. And the third time, it summoned me, Archangel Michael. For I do not respond to every whisper, but when the voice of the righteous cries 3 times in alignment with heaven's will, I must be dispatched. I do not come with softness. I come with war in my wings, with light in my hand, and with power in my decree. Your grandfather knew that something was being prepared in the shadows that could disrupt your divine timeline. He saw the chains that were being smithed in the unseen realm, chains meant to delay your destiny, to shatter your mind, to numb your soul. He cried out because time is not as it seems. And now, you must rise. Perhaps you've been feeling it, those strange dreams lately, that pressure in your chest, the sudden urge to isolate, the sense that something invisible is watching you. That's not your imagination. That's spiritual turbulence. The enemy has been sifting your name like wheat in the courts of darkness. But the intercession of your grandfather reached the courts of heaven. His voice cracked open the veil just long enough for heaven to mark you, protect you, and now awaken you. You are not simply reading this. You are being activated. Understand this, beloved. The voice of the departed does not echo on earth unless heaven has given it permission, which means your grandfather hath been given divine clearance. Why? Because your timeline intersects with a major spiritual junction in this hour. If you make the right move, you will accelerate. You will rise. You will finally begin to walk in what hath been delayed for years. But if you ignore the signs, if you disregard this sacred message, the delay will tighten, the warfare will escalate, and the silence will return. He spoke 3 times. This is not about superstition. This is sacred mathematics. 3 is completion. 3 is covenant. 3 is divine alignment. He said your name not once, not twice, but 3 times because it was a spiritual summoning. You have to ask yourself, why now? Why tonight? Why was I drawn here to this moment, to this message, to this voice? It is because heaven has appointed this hour for revelation. Not everyone is allowed to hear this. Not everyone is chosen. But you have been. Your name shook the spirit realm last night. There was a shift in the spirit world because your grandfather's cry broke protocol. And now, the angels are aligning to your side. But you must step into position. You must come into agreement. You must wake up to your assignment. The attack he saw forming was not random. It was strategic. A generational curse that was being reinforced, hoping you wouldn't notice. A betrayal forming in the spirit, hoping to catch you off guard. A financial theft being orchestrated in the shadows, hoping to leave you doubting your faith. But his voice stopped it. His cry paused it. And now, it is your turn to respond. He cannot do this next part for you. You must walk it out. You must choose differently. You must reclaim the time that the enemy is trying to devour. Type I am rising to get the blessing 4896. He did not just say your name. He said it in the midnight hour, when the veil is thinnest. He said it when your spirit was closest to the edge of awakening. He chose that moment because he knew your soul would recognize the vibration of his voice, even if your mind could not. Have you felt restless in your sleep lately? That's because your spirit was responding to him. He has been trying to warn you in dreams. He's been permitted to intervene because the battle forming was bigger than you could comprehend. But now, the grace window has opened, and I have entered it to tell you the truth. You are not crazy. You are not paranoid. The spiritual pressure around you is not imagined. It is very real. But it is also conquerable. And now that this revelation has arrived, you are no longer blind. You are no longer alone. I am with you. Heaven is watching. Time is running. And your name is still echoing through the spirit realm. It is time to rise and act. Do not delay. Do not turn away. Your grandfather is not haunting you. He is helping you. But this help has an expiration. 4 to 5 minutes is not just about time. It is about divine thresholds. And when that threshold is passed, the choice becomes permanent. So respond. To be. Activate your spirit. Woo. Tup, I am anointed to good blessing 9,999. Hear me clearly, beloved soul. What was coming for you was not just a passing trial or minor inconvenience. It was a full-blown spiritual assault, strategically crafted in the shadows to strike at the weakest part of your being. It was stealthy, ancient, and specifically assigned to you. The adversary knew your vulnerabilities. He studied your past, your wounds, your memories. He gathered data from every heartbreak, every betrayal, every moment you doubted your worth. And then he waited for the right moment to strike. That moment was now. But your grandfather saw it before it touched you. He pierced the darkness with a cry that reached the ears of the Most High. That cry summoned me. I saw it too. I saw what was being formed in the underworld. A coordinated sabotage. You were about to be ambushed, not just emotionally, not just financially, but spiritually. Something was manipulating circumstances behind the scenes, lining people, altering thoughts, injecting doubt, and weaving misfortune through unseen strings. A spirit of delay had latched onto your destiny. It came not to destroy all at once, but to kill slowly, through discouragement, distraction, and deception. That is the warfare that was forming, and divine dismantling of your momentum. And it was disguised to look like your own choices. Had this gone unchecked, you would have mistaken the attack for your own failure. You would have believed you were the one sabotaging your future. But no, it was deeper. It was darker. And it was deliberate. And that is why your grandfather intervened. He saw you on the edge of confusion. He saw how close you were to stepping into a snare, one so subtle you would have called it coincidence. But nothing is coincidence in the spiritual realm. Nothing is casual. It is war. And you, chosen one, were being targeted because your next season is too significant. Let me tell you what I saw. A wave of misalignment. A series of small choices that seemed harmless but were rigged to pull you off course. Conversations planned to implant doubt. Temptations sent to distract you. Opportunities designed to drain you. And even relationships, yes, even those, engineered to derail your clarity. It was all calculated. You were about to agree to something that would have cost you your authority. A transaction in the spirit realm was nearing completion, one that would have legally given the enemy access to your promise. That is what was coming. But it was stopped because heaven heard your name. And now you must know, what is seen can be changed. But what is hidden will rule until exposed. Top high protected to receive blessings 7,771. Don't you feel it? The tension in your spirit. The sense that something just passed you by, a shadow that almost touched your life. That with the assault being intercepted, that with the strike being redirected, you were covered while you slept. The hands of angels were moving silently around your home, canceling what was assigned to break you. And yet, you must not grow complacent. This is not the end of the battle. It is merely the shift into spiritual positioning. You must align your words, your actions, your heart, and your decisions. You must not walk into the old cycles anymore. You must not entertain what is familiar but destructive. Because if you return to what God has delivered you from, the same forces will re-enter, stronger, faster, and more dangerous. Let me warn you with love, child of fire, the devil is not intimidated by your potential. He is intimidated by your movement. As long as you dream but do not act, he feels no threat. But the moment you awaken, the moment you align, the moment you understand that this warning is not poetic, but prophetic, he trembles. Because then, you become unstoppable. That's why he wanted you confused. That's why depression tried to sit on your chest like a stone. That's why you've been tired in your soul. He wanted you to forget who you are. But now, I stand before you to remind you, you are chosen. You are marked. You are rising. And it is not only your life that hangs in the balance. The breakthrough you're about to walk into will affect your bloodline. Your obedience will unlock generational freedom. Your boldness will silence curses that have echoed for decades. You are not being fought because of where you are. You are being fought because of where you're going. Your grandfather knew that. That's why he didn't whisper. He cried your name. But heaven heard. The veil tore. And I was dispatched. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more prophetic messages, spiritual insights, and divine guidance delivered straight to you. If this message has stirred your spirit and sparked new courage in your heart, we invite you to give a super thanks of $20. Your generosity empowers us to continue bringing prophetic clarity, strength, and hope to those walking the journey from betrayal to breakthrough. You can also support our mission through a PayPal donation. Just click the support here link in the video description. Every contribution, no matter the amount, helps us reach more hearts with encouragement and truth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a word of spirit-led insight, divine guidance, and powerful encouragement designed to equip you for your next season. Top I am chosen for victory to release blessing 8822. Hear me now with urgency in your heart and stillness in your soul. When I said there were 45 minutes left, that was not symbolic. That was not metaphor. That was spiritual law unfolding in real time. Heaven's timing is not like man's timing, yet in divine mercy, a window has been opened, a countdown of grace, a threshold of decision. This 45-minute seal is not a number to ignore. It is the span of divine leniency before a door closes, before a season shifts, before access is locked down and movement becomes restricted. It is the remaining space for you to decide whether you will rise or remain where you've been. Your grandfather, in his cries, did not just awaken a memory, he triggered a divine alert across realms. He opened a temporal between. A heavenly stopwatch began ticking the moment his voice pierced the veil. 45 minutes of divine recalibration. 45 minutes of spiritual realignment. 45 minutes for the chosen one to respond. You have been granted a window of warfare, not for fear but for clarity. Because once this segment of time passes, choices that were once fluid will solidify, paths that were once open will narrow, and the next chapter of your journey will be set into motion, either by heaven's direction or by delay's deception. Let this be engraved in your spirit. Time in the natural can feel endless, but in the supernatural, there are appointed windows where God's movement is precise. When a divine time seal is placed over a soul, it means you are standing at a threshold moment, a gate between delay and destiny. If you do nothing, the seal closes, and the unseen battle will re-engage with greater force. But if you respond, if you move in faith, act in obedience, declare your acceptance of this divine message, Then the seal becomes a vault of protection. Heaven will rush in, angels will be dispatched with greater speed, and the very atmosphere around you will begin to shift. This is not panic. This is purpose. Your spirit knows it. That tightness in your chest, that trembling in your hands as you read this, it is your soul awakening to the truth. You don't have forever. You never did. But now, you have exactly what your grandfather's voice bought you, 45 minutes of divine mercy. This is not about fear. It's about urgency. Even Yeshua said, "Work while it is day, for night comes when no man can work." These are the last rays of the sun touching your decisions. Soon, the night will settle in, and your posture now will determine how you walk through the darkness, or if you walk through it at all. Type I receive divine timing to release blessing 7744. Beloved, I see the hourglass before you. The sands are golden. Each grain represents not just time, but opportunity, moments designed for breakthrough, keys hidden in conversation, doors disguised as disruptions. But as the grains fall, the options shift. If you miss the cue to move, the enemy will try again, this time harder, this time with strategy backed by your silence. But I am here to interrupt that cycle. This countdown is not just a warning, it's a preparation for redemption. You must act while the sands still fall. Speak life. Break ties. Reject what is draining you. Awaken your inner warrior. Because this isn't just about being saved, it's about being sent. And understand this deeper truth. The number 45 is not random. In Hebrew, numbers carry meanings. 40 is the number of testing, of transition, of wilderness. 5 is grace. So this 45-minute window is divine grace in your wilderness. Heaven is saying, I know it's been hard, but I'm giving you one last push. Decide now. Shift now. Move now. If you wait, the season will move without you. The blessing will reassign. The angel will return to the throne with unused instructions, and the silence will be deafening. Do not let your deliverance walk past you because of indecision. Do not let your grandfather's cry echo in vain. He broke open a rare opening, and now heaven is standing at your side with power, waiting on your yes. Your yes to alignment. Your yes to release. Your yes to becoming who you were born to be. You've waited long enough. You've hurt long enough. The war has taken too much already. But this time seal is not just a warning. It's a gift. It's divine grace counting down for your benefit. And I will not leave your side while it ticks. I am Michael, and I war for your name. Type I am ready to move to unlock blessing 6611. Do you feel the weight of this moment yet? This is more than spiritual. It is cosmic. The earth is leaning in. The cloud of witnesses is holding their breath. The angels are poised. The Father is watching. And all creation groans for the sons and daughters of God to rise. Will you be one of them? Will you be the one who heard the call, saw the time, and said yes before the final grain fell? You have 45 minutes. And now, you have been told why. Heaven's alarm is ringing. The clock is not your enemy. It is your opportunity. Don't waste it. There are promises that were made before you were born, ancient declarations spoken by your ancestors in the quiet of their prayer rooms, in the sweat of their labor, in the tears of their trials. Your grandfather was not merely a man of age. He was a guardian of legacy, a keeper of a divine line. And what he cried out for last night, what compelled him to whisper your name 3 times, was not just to stop an attack. It was to preserve a promise etched into your bloodline, a promise that had been delayed but not denied. And now, it rests on your shoulders. He saw what many in your family never saw. He discerned the spiritual inheritance buried under generations of pain, poverty, confusion, and loss. And he chose, before he left this earth, to protect that promise. But the promise does not hover in thin air. It must anchor itself in a vessel, a person aligned, prepared, and awakened. That person is you. This is not sentiment. This is sacred reality. You were always marked to carry what he could not finish. You were always selected to wear the mantle he laid down. But until last night, the alignment hadn't activated. Until he cried your name into the heavens, the divine alarm remained silent. But now, everything has changed. The cry of an ancestor is not heard unless heaven authorizes it. And heaven would not have authorized it unless the timing had come full circle. What does that mean for you? It means this is your appointed season. The dream he once saw but never walked into. It's yours now. The land he once tried to purchase but couldn't afford. The authority to possess it is on you. The healing you hope to see sweep through your family. It begins with your obedience. Your grandfather saw the spiritual archives of your lineage and understood something most never will. Promises are spiritual seeds that demand harvesters. And you, chosen one, are heaven's answer to an old prayer. Yours a mantle that he wore in silence. Perhaps he didn't always speak about the visions he had. Maybe he seemed quiet, even distant. But in the spirit, he was watching, waiting, warring. He saw things others in the family were too distracted to perceive. He noticed the patterns, sudden deaths, financial hardship, addiction cycles, emotional trauma, relationship collapse. He saw how these weren't accidents. They were spiritual assignments. And though he could not destroy them all, he began to weaken them. And now, he is crying from the cloud of witnesses, urging you to finish what he began. Type I am the bloodline breaker to activate blessing 3311. You see, the enemy was hoping you wouldn't awaken to your bloodline assignment. He wanted you trapped in the very cycles your grandfather warred against. But now that this message has pierced your soul, you must not return to spiritual sleep. You are not merely a person trying to survive life. You are an heir of prophetic legacy, a vessel of fulfilled prayer, and that comes with both weight and wonder. It comes with both battle and blessing. But your grandfather's cry last night was not born of desperation. It was born of victory. He saw what was coming against you, yes, but more importantly, he saw what was about to come through you. There is a power in your name that has yet to be unlocked. A spiritual frequency that was activated the moment your grandfather spoke it aloud 3 times. That sound passed through dimensions. It struck the gate of remembrance in heaven. And it caused a scroll to be opened, a scroll bearing your family's promise. That scroll had dust on it. It had waited in silence. But your name shook the dust away. Now it hovers, open and waiting for your agreement. Will you receive what heaven wants to release through you? Will you carry the mantle your grandfather safeguarded until his last breath? This is not about trying harder. This is about surrendering deeper. It's about saying, I will not let the enemy have my family. I will not let darkness win. I will not walk blind anymore. Because the promise was never about just one person. It was about a lineage and generation, a revival through your blood. Your yes is not just for you. It is for the future. The power to break every chain your grandfather saw forming is now in your hands. He spoke your name because he saw that you were the one who could finish the fight. Type I receive my mantle to activate blessing 2755. You are not too late. You are right on time. The cry that reached the heavens opened this moment so you could rise. So you could remember who you are. So you could reclaim what has been lost. Do not waste this inheritance. Do not minimize the importance of what you carry. You are not here by accident. You were called by name 3 times, as heaven, earth, and the cloud of witnesses bore witness. And now you must decide, will you step into the promise? Will you carry the fire? Will you walk boldly where your grandfather once tread lightly? This is your turning point. The bloodline hath been waiting for someone to say, it ends with me, and it begins again through me. Let me speak this plainly. Beloved, silence is not safety. In moments like this, when heaven roars, when ancestors cry out, when angelic armies stand ready, silence is surrender. And you, chosen one, were not born to surrender to darkness. You were born to rule in light. Yet the danger is subtle. The enemy does not always strike with fearsome thunder. Sometimes he waits for silence. Sometimes he lurks in your hesitation, hoping that the weight of spiritual responsibility will feel too heavy and you'll back away quietly. That is the most dangerous choice of all, not rebellion, but inactivity. To stay silent now would be to ignore the sound of your name spoken across dimensions. It would be to close your ears to the divine echo your grandfather sent through the night, that fragile thread of warning that heaven honored. To stay silent now would be to allow the same patterns he fought to crawl their way back in. Stronger, deeper, more destructive. And if you choose silence, if you choose to do nothing, let me be clear, the enemy will take it as permission. Permission to proceed. Permission to finish what he started. Permission to twist your identity and dismantle your legacy. You may think, I'll just wait. I'll think it over. I'll come back to this when I'm more ready. But the truth is, heaven doesn't wait forever. Revelation is a river. It flows when the Spirit moves. And when the Spirit stirs, you must jump in or be left behind. Silence will not keep you safe. It will not pause the countdown. It will only allow the forces that were halted by your grandfather's cry to regroup. And once this 45-minute window closes, what was paused will resume. Stronger, faster, and with clear legal access, because your silence creates space for enemy agreements. You need to understand the spiritual law at work here. When heaven gives revelation, it's not just a gift. It's an invitation to covenant. What you do with this knowledge determines what heaven is allowed to do in your life. If you speak, if you respond, if you align, then angels move. Doors open. Cycles break. But if you stay silent, heaven respects your will and waits. And while heaven waits, hell does not. The enemy will fill the silence with lies. He'll whisper things like, this message isn't for you, or maybe it was just coincidence, or you'll do it tomorrow. But child of light, you may not have a tomorrow. Type I will not stay silent to activate blessing 5566. Silence in this moment is not humility, it's disobedience. And it has consequences. You were awakened for a reason. The timing of this message, the shaking in your chest, the recognition in your spirit, it's all evidence that your soul remembers what your mind cannot explain. You were marked for this hour, but the mark must be followed by movement. And movement starts with your voice. Speak out your acceptance. Declare your identity. Break your agreement with fear. Heaven is watching how you respond to this moment. not with your feelings, but with your action. What happens if you stay silent? Let me show you. The promise returns to slumber. The angel assigned to your life turns back with unread scrolls. The protection lifts slowly, because without your agreement, heaven cannot force you into breakthrough. And the enemy, like a lion waiting in tall grass, pounces the moment the seal of time closes. You'll feel it in the days that follow. Confusion will return. Relationships will crumble. Doors that were once cracking open will slam shut. Why? Because silence is not neutral. Silence is a decision. And in spiritual realms, decisions shape destiny. But there's still hope. You're reading this. You're breathing. The time seal hasn't closed yet. The voice that stirred you hasn't faded yet. You can still say yes. You can still say, I will not let this pass me by. You can still reclaim the time that nearly devoured you. But you must speak. You must move. You must act. Because if you don't, your future will not just be delayed. It will be redesigned by the enemy's hand. And that, my beloved, would be a tragedy too great to bear. Type I choose movement over silence to release blessing 3177. I know you're afraid. I know the weight feels heavy. But what's heavier is regret. What's more painful is knowing you were called but never responded. Your grandfather cried your name because he believed in what you could become. Heaven dispatched me because time is short. The kingdom needs your obedience now. You are the fulfillment of generations of prayer. You are the one who breaks the chain, not by might, but by surrender. Do not let your silence seal the gates that heaven flung open just for you. Speak, woo, declare, and rise. You, beloved soul, have been carrying something heavy, and not just emotional burdens or earthly concerns. No, what you've been feeling is the weight of delay, the invisible pressure of blocked progress, diverted purpose, stolen time. Delay is not just circumstance, it is spiritual interference. It is the invisible thief that robs kings before they rise and silences prophets before they speak. And today, I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to awaken the warrior in you so that this delay can be broken once and for all. Delay is the enemy's favorite weapon against the chosen. Why? Because if he cannot destroy you, he will distract you. If he cannot devour you, he will deter you. Delay makes you second-guess the vision. It makes you believe that maybe you heard God wrong, that maybe you're not meant for greatness, that maybe the promise was for someone else. But hear me, delay is not denial. However, delay becomes dangerous when you begin to accommodate it, accept it, even defend it. But you were never meant to live under delay. You were born to accelerate. Your grandfather saw this stagnation in your spirit. That is why he cried your name 3 times. He could see the delay trying to tighten its grip, trying to freeze you just before your moment. But what he cried to stop, you must choose to break. Because delay only has power where agreement exists. And now it's time to break that agreement. It's time to rise. Not emotionally, not casually, but violently in the spirit. You must awaken the warrior within. You must activate the fire that heaven placed in you before time began. You must rise up and say, no more. Because when a warrior awakens, delay loses its grip. You break the delay by refusing to believe its lies. You silence it by doing the opposite of what it expects. Delay says wait, you act. Delay says doubt, you declare. Delay says give up, you press in. You break the delay by stepping into obedience even when you don't feel ready. You break it by reclaiming every minute, every day, every opportunity it tried to steal. You break it by standing in authority and saying, "My time is no longer held hostage." You do not need to beg. You need to bind. You need to speak directly to the spirit of delay and cast it out. I break the delay to activate blessing 6888. This is how warriors move. Not with fear, but with focus. Not with hesitation, but with divine audacity. Warriors understand that the enemy does not fear their strength, he fears their clarity. And right now, the fog is lifting. You see now, don't you? That the setbacks weren't just random. That the timing always seemed off for a reason. That every time you were about to make progress, something came up. Yes, that's delay. Spiritual, generational, manipulative delay. But now, you know. And once you see the chain, you have the power to shatter it. Your grandfather fought delay, too. But he did not have the tools you have now. He didn't have this clarity. He didn't have this heavenly intervention. That's why he cried out. He knew you could finish what he started. And I am here now to equip you with the sword of revelation. To tell you this, you are not waiting on time. Time is waiting on you. The heavens are waiting for you to move, speak, and command the shift. Delay cannot remain where the anointed take territory. And you, beloved, are anointed to advance. But listen, and listen carefully. If you break delay and then return to the habits that created it, it will come back 7 times stronger. This is not just about one decision. It is about transformation. You must walk differently, think differently, pray differently, speak differently. You cannot break delay while still entertaining delay's language. You must release everything, yes, everything, that delays your obedience to the voice of God, even if it's familiar, even if it's comfortable, especially if it's comfortable. Delay always hides in comfort zones. Warriors live in movement. I choose acceleration to receive blessing 4322. You are not lazy. You are not lost. You are not too late. You were simply entangled. But now, the chains are being exposed, and your cry, your roar, must rise. Delay does not fear tears. It fears declarations. Speak now. Say, I release the past. I reject the lies. I reclaim my time. Heaven responds to such voices. Angels are dispatched by such cries. And I, Michael, will war alongside you until you see movement. But I need your agreement. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now, in the final ticks of the 45-minute seal, choose to rise. Choose to war. Choose to break the delay. Your destiny depends on it. If this message has stirred your spirit and sparked new courage in your heart, we invite you to give a super thanks of $20. Your generosity empowers us to continue bringing prophetic clarity, strength, and hope to those walking the journey from betrayal to breakthrough. You can also support our mission through a PayPal donation. Just click the support here link in the video description. Every contribution, no matter the amount, helps us reach more hearts with encouragement and truth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a word of spirit-led insight, divine guidance, and powerful encouragement designed to equip you for your next season. Let me reveal to you what you've long suspected but couldn't quite name. You have been battling a spirit of delay, and it has cloaked itself so masterfully that you may not have even recognized it. The spirit is not loud like destruction, nor dramatic like chaos. Lo, it is subtle, cunning, patient. It is the spirit that works through inconvenience, distraction, emotional fatigue, and silent hesitation. And while you've been blaming yourself, thinking you're just unmotivated, indecisive, or unlucky, the truth is, there's been a spiritual force assigned to interrupt your momentum. How do you know it's been delay? Let me speak directly to your experience. Have you noticed that every time you begin to build something, an idea, a goal, a connection, something suddenly interrupts it? You get sick, someone pulls on your time, confusion clouds your next step, or unexpected drama enters your life. It feels like false starts over and over again. Or perhaps you felt like you're always preparing but never launching, always thinking but never releasing. That's not coincidence. There's a spirit of delay wrapping itself around your progress, choking your movement so slowly that you've been calling it procrastination when really, it's in bondage. This spirit works through patterns. Have you noticed repeated cycles in your life? Moments where you get so close to breakthrough but somehow things fall apart last minute. You get the job interview but no call back. You enter a relationship but it collapses unexpectedly. You feel a wave of motivation, but the next day you're paralyzed with doubt. Yes, that's delay. And here's the dangerous part. If left unbroken, delay can convince you that what you desire is not meant for you. It whispers, maybe it's just not your time, when in reality, it was always your time, but delay took it from you. I renounce every delay to activate blessing 3444. Another sign, exhaustion without reason. When you're always tired, but not sure why. When your soul feels drained even after rest. When you wake up more weary than when you went to sleep, that's spiritual. That's not laziness, that's a symptom of spiritual warfare. Delay drains you slowly. It keeps you busy but not productive. It surrounds you with people who pull but never pour. It creates constant crises that distract you from purpose. And then, it makes you feel guilty for not doing enough, all while feeding the very fog that prevents your next step. This is not your fault, but now that you see it, you must fight back. It also manifests in confusion. Do you often find yourself questioning decisions you were once confident about? Do you hear a clear instruction from God, then suddenly feel unsure within hours or days? Do you struggle to discern what's real versus what's fear? That confusion isn't just your thoughts spiraling. It's the spirit of delay blurring your spiritual vision, trying to disconnect you from divine timing. Delay doesn't want you to be evil. It just wants you to be late. Late to obedience. Late to healing. Late to purpose. Because even a blessed life that's delayed becomes a burden. You may have noticed your prayers have grown quieter, not because you're angry at God, but because somewhere deep inside, you started to believe He was quiet with you. That too is the fingerprint of delay. When the enemy can't block your mouth, he tries to mute your hope. That is why your grandfather cried your name. That is why heaven sent this message. Because someone needed to tell you, you are not crazy. You are not broken. You are under siege. But now, the siege ends. Delay has no hold on me to receive blessing 7011. And here's one final sign that delay has been operating. People around you begin to experience breakthrough while you remain stuck, not because you're unworthy, but because delay isolates. It makes you feel forgotten, left behind, even cursed. You celebrate others, but secretly you ask God, what about me? And the enemy whispers, maybe you miss your moment. But hear me, you did not miss your moment. Your moment was held hostage. But now, the chains are being revealed. Now, the light is piercing the fog. Now, the The lies are being dismantled. You are rising out of this delay, not by your own strength, but by heaven's decree. So what must you do now that you know the truth? Renounce the lies. Break agreement with delay. Declare that you will no longer allow a spirit to govern what God has already approved. Move even if it's messy. Speak even if your voice trembles. Take the next step even if you're not fully sure. Because warriors don't wait for the battlefield to feel safe. They charge when the trumpet sounds. And this message is your trumpet. If this message is resonating, and you want to help us continue bringing these divine truths forward, consider giving us super thanks. Your support, even a $10 seed, helps us create more prophetic content for souls like yours. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for exclusive insight, fresh prophetic words, and real-time guidance for your walk. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Delay ends now to Allah blessing 9,900. Listen carefully now, chosen one, for this is the revelation your spirit has been crying out for. You've been wondering, why didn't it break me? Why didn't it crush me completely? Why am I still standing, even when I felt like I was drowning? The answer is this: heaven intervened. Yes, child of the covenant. Long before you saw the threat, long before you felt the spiritual pressure, heaven had already moved. Your grandfather's cry was not the beginning of the battle, it was the trigger of reinforcement. But the defense had already begun, quietly, in the background, as your name reached the courts of heaven. I want you to imagine something with your spirit, a spiritual battlefield stretching out before you. You stood at the center, unaware, exhausted, unsure of what was coming. And behind you, above you, around you, a formation of angels stood guard. They did not sleep. They did not flinch. Their swords drawn, their wings spread, their orders clear. Protect this one at all costs. Because while the enemy had crafted a well-timed strike to stop your advancement, heaven had countered it long before it launched. Your deliverance was not spontaneous. It was strategic. The night before the enemy made his move, an intercession was made on your behalf. Your name was weighed in the balances, your purpose revisited in the eternal scrolls. And the Most High said, "Not this one. Not now. Not like this." That declaration set off a chain reaction. Your grandfather's spirit was summoned from the cloud of witnesses. He was permitted, authorized, to speak your name 3 times into the realms, not as a memory but as a summons. That sound echoed across the veil, and when it did, it activated an emergency intervention. You didn't just survive. You were preserved. There is a difference. Survival is what you do with your own strength. Preservation is what God does when your strength fails. You were preserved in a time when the enemy thought you were too distracted to see the danger. Preserved when your emotions were fragile. Preserved when your faith was thinning. It was not your intellect. It was not your luck. It was divine intervention. Invisible, intentional, relentless. Top heaven preserved me to receive blessing 6,226. You wonder why you suddenly felt peace when everything around you was shaking. Why your heart calmed in the middle of chaos. Why the situation should have destroyed you but didn't. That wasn't coincidence. That was the Spirit of the living God interrupting the plan of the wicked. That was angelic presence brushing past your skin. That was divine authority sealing you in, saying, "Touch not my anointed." Even the accidents that missed you, the messages that came right on time, the person who checked on you for no reason. That was not randomness. That was intervention. Do you remember when you almost gave in, but something held you back? Do you remember when a plan was forming in your mind, a dangerous escape, a reckless decision, and suddenly your heart felt uneasy? That was not hesitation. That was divine redirection. Heaven stepped in, not only to protect your physical body, but to block your soul from being marked by regret. Because the attack wasn't just to harm your life, it was aimed at your legacy, your mind, your ability to dream again. And heaven said, enough. There was a chain being forged in the unseen, meant to link your destiny to perpetual failure. It was crafted from generational disappointments, hidden insecurities, and ancestral wounds. It was nearly completed when the sound of your name shattered it. Every time your grandfather said your name, a link broke. The first time broke the lie that said, "You'll never be enough." The second broke the curse that whispered, "You'll never break free." And the third shattered the assignment that declared, "You'll never reach it in time." With every utterance, the chain fell. And then I was sent, to stand between you and destruction, to hold the line, to awaken your senses. Divine protection surrounds me to activate blessing 4555. Let me tell you this now, heaven is not passive about you. You are not forgotten. You are not one of the many. You are not overlooked. You are watched, known, and protected. This intervention wasn't because you were perfect. It was because you are purposeful. Your flaws did not disqualify you. Your doubts did not cancel your assignment. Heaven does not look at your performance. It looks at your position. And your position, beloved, is chosen, loved, destined. This is why the enemy trembles when you wake up to truth. Because now you know, you were never alone. You were never abandoned. The plot to destroy you was seen and intercepted. The move that was meant to derail you was met by the sword of an angel. The force that was about to press in has now been turned back by fire. That's what divine intervention looks like. And it has not ended. Even now, angels stand beside you, guarding this message in your spirit, warring against every distraction trying to pull your mind away. The war is real, but the victory is already moving in your direction. Listen now, with the full force of your spirit. This is the part where you either rise into victory or retreat back into cycles. You must understand this. Your words are not small. Your words are not meaningless echoes into the wind. They are swords. They are spiritual keys. They are activation codes in a divine system that only responds to authority. And you, chosen one, carry authority whether you feel it or not. Heaven has placed a sword in your mouth, and how you wield it will determine whether your breakthrough is released or revoked. The enemy has always known this truth. That's why he's fought so hard to keep you silent. That's why your voice has felt stuck in your throat. Why you've second-guessed your declarations. Why speaking life has felt unnatural when despair feels more honest. It's not because you're weak. It's because your words have power, unused power. And the longer it remains dormant, the longer the spiritual atmosphere around you remains unclaimed. You remember when delay felt constant, when your mind wavered, when every time you tried to speak something good over your life, something came to silence you. That was not random. That was spiritual resistance. Because every time you speak in alignment with heaven, it commands angels into motion. The Spirit of God responds to sound, your sound. Your words create pathways. Your declarations become permission slips for the supernatural to intervene. When you speak faith in the face of delay, you break the delay. When you decree identity over confusion, clarity arrives. You don't describe your situation, you declare your outcome. My voice carries power to activate blessing 5099. This is why the Word of God is called a double-edged sword, because it cuts both ways. It cuts through lies and through hesitation. But what good is a sword that is never swung? Some of you have been living in spiritual defense mode, waiting for an attack to pass. But I tell you now, heaven did not arm you to hide. It armed you to advance. You must begin using your mouth as your weapon. Speak the opposite of what you see. Prophecy into what feels barren. Declare over your family what hasn't yet manifested. That is not denial. It is divine warfare. You don't need to wait for perfect conditions. You don't need to feel brave. You don't need to have every scripture memorized. You just need to believe that the power of life and death is in your tongue, and then use it. Speak as if the angels are listening, because they are. Speak as if your words are bricks building your future, because they are. The more you speak with kingdom alignment, the more delay loses legal ground. The more you declare your freedom, the more chains begin to tremble. Your voice is a battering ram in the spirit. Use it. And let me make this clear, what you say about yourself matters most. Heaven has called you chosen, anointed, and appointed. But what have you called yourself? Have you echoed heaven, or have you echoed your fears? You cannot walk into destiny while speaking the language of defeat. You cannot say I am stuck and expect to be free. You cannot say nothing ever changes and expect acceleration. You must become fluent in the language of promise. Speak what heaven sees, even if your eyes do not. Speak with faith that sounds like fire, even if your heart still quivers. Speak as one who understands that silence is not humility, it is forfeiture. I speak breakthrough to receive blessing 7772. Let your words be precise. Let your words be relentless. Don't just say it once, repeat it until the atmosphere bends. Say, I am not behind. I am aligned. Say, delay is breaking and I am advancing. Say, what was stolen is being returned sevenfold. These are not empty phrases. They are spiritual hammers, demolishing every stronghold that's tried to silence your progress. And don't just speak for yourself, speak for your bloodline. Declare healing for your mother's wounds. Declare breakthrough over your children's future. Declare that every curse that touched your family stops with you. The sword is in your mouth. Use every word. And I tell you this now as your defender. The angels respond to declarations faster than to desperation. Don't just cry, command. Don't just weep, war. You are not a victim of spiritual timing. You are a participant in divine orchestration. Your voice completes the frequency of heaven's movement. And every time you speak what God has spoken over you, you become unstoppable. Let this moment be the one where your language shifts forever. No more speaking as one who is powerless. No more agreeing with delay, failure, or confusion. From this day forward, your mouth will become the gate of breakthrough. Your words will split open the heavens and call down what is rightfully yours. If this message has stirred your spirit and sparked new courage in your heart, we invite you to give a super thanks of $20. Your generosity empowers us to continue bringing prophetic clarity, strength, and hope to those walking the journey from betrayal to breakthrough. You can also support our mission through a PayPal donation. Just click the support here link in the video description. Every contribution, no matter the amount, helps us reach more hearts with encouragement and truth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a word of Spirit-led insight, divine guidance, and powerful encouragement designed to equip you for your next season. And now listen, child of the Most High, with eyes wide open and heart alert, because the moment your spirit begins to rise, the enemy begins to panic. He sees the shift. He senses the awakening. And when delay is broken, when your voice has been activated and divine alignment begins to settle over your life, he sends one final assault. Not with full destruction, not with overwhelming warfare. No, he sends a distraction. And it is this final distraction that is most dangerous. Not because it is loud, but because it is subtle. And subtle things steal silently. You are nearing the end of your 45-minute window. The sands of divine grace are nearing their fall. And the enemy knows he cannot win this war with force. So he uses diversion. He'll send a person, a phone call, a craving, an argument, a temptation. He'll stir up old emotions, familiar triggers, former lovers, forgotten wounds. He won't need to destroy your life. He only needs to shift your focus for a few moments. If he can distract you now, if he can pull your eyes from the spirit and fix them back on the flesh, the moment will pass. The gates will close, and you will feel the loss, not as punishment, but as a missed opening in the spirit realm. That is why this distraction is so deadly. It disguises itself as something harmless, a text that pulls you into drama, a sudden wave of exhaustion just before you're meant to pray, an invitation that seems like a blessing but is sent to delay your progress, a financial opportunity that's meant to waste your time, a person from your past who suddenly reappears just when you're about to step into purpose. It all looks innocent, but it is intentional. It is not coincidence. It is calculated resistance, meant to snatch your attention away before the hour of acceleration arrives. This final distraction will not feel like a battle. It will feel like a decision. And therein lies its trap. Because spiritual delay doesn't always scream. It often whispers. It whispers through comfort, convenience, and confusion. It shows up in distractions that drain your momentum. The enemy will try to convince you that nothing's urgent, that you have more time, that you can wait to respond. But I tell you now, as Archangel Michael, you do not have more time. This is your hour. This is your gate. This is your decision point. Type I will not be distracted to release blessing 3663. So what do you do when the distraction comes? You hold the line. You look it in the eye and say, "Not this time." You remember the cry of your grandfather. You remember the voice of this message. You remember that something holy is unfolding right now, and no earthly noise, no emotional storm, no relationship drama, no unexpected offer is worth more than your moment of deliverance. You must war against distraction like you war against delay. Because distraction is delay wearing a different mask. This is not about legalism. This is not about paranoia. It is about discernment. You must begin to measure every choice through the lens of destiny. Does this draw me into purpose or pull me from it? Does this awaken my spirit or drain my energy? Does this conversation bring clarity or plant doubt? You must become ruthless with your focus in this hour. Because when a window is closing, distractions become louder. But remember this, the noise is proof that you're near breakthrough. The opposition only increases when the enemy knows he's about to lose access. Let me prophesy this to your soul. If you can push through this final distraction, if you can keep your spirit sharp and your eyes fixed forward, there is an acceleration on the other side that will make up for years of lost time. What heaven has stored for you is not fragile. It is forceful, but it requires your attention. You must be present, alert, and submitted. You must refuse to turn your head, even for a moment, because the enemy is hoping to confuse you with the familiar, hoping you'll run back to what is known instead of stepping into what is new. And yes, the final distraction often looks like your last desire. It looks like what you asked for before you matured. It shows up as what your flesh wanted before your spirit was ready. That's how the enemy works. He counterfeits timing. But when you've been preserved, when you've been summoned, when you've been called by name 3 times from beyond the veil, you don't return to the shadows. You rise. You move forward. You choose purpose over pleasure, assignment over impulse, spirit over sensation. You say, I see you, distraction, and I deny you entry. Type, I cancel every distraction to activate blessing 8118. This is the hour of focus. The countdown has not stopped. And what you choose now determines what unfolds next. Do not let this be the moment that you forget your training. The final test before breakthrough is often the easiest to overlook. It won't feel like a fight, but it is. It will come soft. It will come sweet. It will come as an interruption masked as an invitation. But you must discern it, reject it, and rise beyond it. Because you have come too far to be deterred now. And if this word has stirred something in you, if it has pierced your heart and confirmed what you sensed but couldn't explain, then let it move you to act. Consider sowing a seed of support through a super thanks or super chat today. Even $10 makes a difference and fuels more words like this to reach those who need them. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. You'll receive early access to divine insights, prophetic instruction, and spiritual strategies that will shift your entire atmosphere. Now hear me, beloved. The moment you say why yes, before the final grain of the hourglass falls, everything begins to reverse. I am not speaking in metaphor. I am not offering spiritual poetry. I am releasing a prophetic decree. If you respond in obedience before the divine clock strikes, your atmosphere will shift, your cycles will break, and the path that was blocked will open. This is the miracle of reversal, the supernatural phenomenon where God flips what was against you and sets it to work for you. Where your yes in this window triggers heaven's full release of power, authority, and alignment in your favor. You've endured the crushing weight of delay. You've wrestled with the suffocating fog of confusion. But now, with one act of obedience, one verbal agreement, one decision to move, everything can turn. The crooked paths will straighten. The closed doors will creak open. The weight will lift. This is not exaggeration. This is the law of divine reaction. Heaven moves when a chosen one responds. And you, chosen one, were never meant to carry the promise and the pain without the reward. The reversal is your inheritance. But only if you say why yes before the gate seals. The why yes I speak of is not casual. It is not the soft yes of religious tradition. It is the why yes that breaks your routine. The why yes that says, I'm done circling the same wilderness. I'm done crying over things that were never assigned to me. I'm done wasting time on people who can't carry what I'm called to birth. It is the why yes that says, though I feel unready, I choose to respond anyway. Though I feel afraid, I will speak. Though I've failed before, I will rise again. That kind of why yes shakes foundations. That kind of why yes commands angels. That kind of yes is what your grandfather hoped you would finally release. Type my yeses now to activate blessing 4464. When your yes is spoken from your spirit, not just your mouth, timelines begin to realign. Yes, beloved, you heard that correctly. What was lost can be restored. What was delayed can be redeemed. Even the time the enemy devoured, the years of stagnation, the decisions that seemed to put you too far behind, heaven can recover it all. You will not just move forward, you will move forward with acceleration. Because the yes acts like a spiritual override, a heavenly reset button. It tells the angels she's ready now. He's prepared now. Dispatch the next phase. And this is what happens next. Relationships that drained you will begin to sever on their own. Resources you lack will suddenly appear. Opportunities you didn't chase will chase you. Dreams that had gone dormant will come back alive with new breath. Your sensitivity to the Spirit will sharpen. Your prayer life will ignite. Your peace will deepen. Why? Because you said yes. And that yes activated the reversal. But let me speak this with urgency. The reversal only belongs to the responsive. Those who hear and still hesitate. Those who feel conviction but offer delay in return. Those who postpone their obedience, they will miss this hour. This is a divine equation. Yes before the clock strikes equals supernatural reversal. Yes after the clock strikes equals another cycle, another round of delay. And I have not been sent here to keep you entertained. I have been sent here to make sure you don't miss your window again. Your grandfather cried your name not to simply warn you, but to call you into this yes. He knew what would unfold if you just surrendered fully. His Spirit saw what your eyes haven't yet seen. A generation rising because of your obedience. A healing wave flooding your lineage. A chain reaction of favor that begins with your first step. That's what's waiting on the other side of your yes. But only if it's released before the gate closes. Type I choose the reversal to unlock blessing 2303. There is still time, but not much. The enemy is watching, hoping you'll pause again. Hoping you'll read this and scroll past. Hoping you'll be inspired, but not transformed. But I say, no more. This is your hour to break the back of delay, to rise above confusion, to reverse what was said against you. This is your hour to say yes so loudly that it echoes into eternity, so firmly that it closes the doors behind you, so clearly that all of heaven rejoices at the sound of your surrender. This is what the reversal looks like. What once blocked you begins to work for you. What once hurt you becomes your testimony. What once delayed you becomes your platform. The very things that tried to destroy you will now bow to the authority you've reclaimed. Your yes has power. Use it before the clock completes its final click. If this prophetic word has reached into your heart, consider sowing into it by giving a super thanks. Your support of $10, $20, or whatever you feel led to give helps us release more divine truth to others. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next prophetic release designed to shift your life and protect your purpose. The sand is almost gone now. The time seal is nearly complete. The atmosphere is vibrating, and yet your name is still echoing. Yes, beloved, even now, your name is traveling through realms, through dimensions, through spiritual corridors still shaking from the weight of your grandfather's cry. Heaven has not silenced it. The cry was not a moment, it was a command. And as long as you have breath in your lungs, and this message is before you, the echo continues. That name, the one you carry with shame, with longing, with unanswered questions, is still trembling through the courts of heaven. He said your name 3 times, and heaven recorded it 3 times. And now, in this final moment before the divine hour closes, heaven is watching what you will do with it. Your name wasn't just spoken to grab your attention. It was spoken to establish divine identity. The name he cried wasn't just the one you were given at birth. It was the name marked in the spirit, the one you don't even fully understand yet. The name tied to your mantle. The name hidden in the scroll of your destiny. He is that name that still echoes now, calling angels, calling instructions, calling breakthrough. But it is your response that determines whether that echo is met with acceleration or silence. This countdown is not a threat. It is a threshold. Every second ticking down is one more chance to match your agreement with what heaven already declared. But time, in the spirit, is sacred. When heaven opens a window and releases a countdown, it is offering you a final opportunity to step into alignment with urgency. And you must know this truth: the echo does not last forever. The sound that once vibrated in glory will fade if there is no earthly agreement. And if the echo fades, so does the instruction. So does the covering. So does the current of divine movement. Right now, your name is still being carried on wings. It is being repeated in heavenly rooms, reviewed in prophetic records. It is being held before the throne as angels await a final signal. Your yes, your movement, your action. Heaven is holding its breath for your response, because the echo means you are still in the moment of mercy. You are still standing in the middle of divine intersection. You are still being invited into a reality that shifts everything. But with every passing second, the echo lessens. And when the echo stops, so does the grace tied to this window. Type my name still carries fire to activate blessing 5412. You may ask, why me? Why now? Because your name was not just spoken for you. It was spoken for everything your name is tied to. Every purpose, every soul you're meant to reach, every generation that will walk free because you chose to rise. Heaven doesn't echo names for people who are meant to play it safe. Heaven echoes names for destiny carriers, for chain breakers, for those whose very identity is an interruption to darkness. Your name shakes the enemy. Your name reminds hell that something heaven-born still walks the earth. But the echo is fragile. It grows fainter if met with spiritual apathy. It fades when the heart resists surrender. This is why distraction was sent. This is why temptations surge. Because the enemy knows, when you answer the echo, everything changes. Your life will not look the same after this. Your vision will expand. Your discernment will heighten. Your spirit will quicken. Your authority will solidify. And once that happens, you become a threat that cannot be undone. So yes, the final moments are loud. Yes, the pressure feels heavy. But that's because the heavens are close, and they're waiting. Even now, I see angels surrounding you. They are bearing witness to your decision. Will you answer the echo? Will you respond before the sound fades into eternal archives? The sound of your name is sacred. It was spoken by the one who loved you enough to cross realms just to protect your purpose. Your grandfather's cry was more than remembrance. It was resurrection. It called you out of delay. It summoned you from confusion and marked you for movement. And now, heaven waits for your voice to meet the sound with one resounding word. Yes. Type my echo is my agreement to release blessing 6280. Do not be deceived. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not unqualified. You were called. You were chosen. And your name is still ringing through the heavens. But the final grains of time are nearly gone. The echo is fading. And this is your last moment to rise into agreement with what has already been declared over your life. Answer the sound. Release your voice. Step into alignment. Say yes while the heavens still tremble with your name. Beloved, we have reached the end of this divine moment together. The clock has nearly struck its final tone. The hourglass has few grains remaining. But the message has been delivered. The revelation has been spoken. Your name was echoed across realms, not in fear, but in fire. And now, you stand at the threshold of a divine sealing. This is the hour where heaven waits for your full agreement, not just emotionally, not just momentarily, but eternally. Your yes is not just a moment, it is a mantle. And once you receive it, you will never walk the same. Let your heart settle now. Let your spirit breathe. You were never left behind. You were never ignored. The delay was real, but so was the divine intervention. And now, what your grandfather saw, what your lineage hoped for, what your spirit cried out for in silence, has reached fulfillment. You are the answer to an ancient prayer. The living response to the cry of a faithful soul who never stopped believing that someone in the family would carry the light. That someone is you. Now I, Archangel Michael, seal this with the authority of heaven's courts. I command the chains of delay to be shattered, the fog of confusion to lift, and the path of purpose to be cleared before your feet. I decree over you acceleration, boldness, clarity, and breakthrough. I decree that your yes will echo back into generations, forward into legacy, and upward into divine record. What tried to kill you will now bless you. What delayed you will now promote you. And what silenced you will now become the very thing that amplifies your voice. So lift your hands now. Open your mouth. Say it with your soul. Yes, I receive this. Yes, and I will walk forward. Yes, I am chosen. Yes, I will not miss my moment. Let me now pray with you. Heavenly Father, we thank you for divine timing, for heavenly interruption, and for the grace that holds open this gate. We thank you for the cry of legacy and the echo of destiny. Let your Spirit seal every yes spoken today. Let every reader walk in power, purpose, and supernatural protection. Send angels to war for them. Surround them with fire. And let not one word you have spoken fall to the ground. In the name of the Most High, the Ancient of Days, let it be established. Amen. If this message has stirred your spirit and sparked new courage in your heart, we invite you to give us super thanks of $20. Your generosity empowers us to continue bringing prophetic clarity, strength, and hope to those walking the journey from betrayal to breakthrough. You can also support our mission through a PayPal donation. Just click the Support Here link in the video description. Every contribution, no matter the amount, helps us reach more hearts with encouragement and truth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a word of Spirit-led insight, divine guidance, and powerful encouragement designed to equip you for your next season. Type I am sealed in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 7007 is now activated.